Sit back, relax, and welcome to Reading Hours. Today's book is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Please let us know in the comments from where you are watching, or if there is a book you want us to summarize in future. Hello, and welcome to Reading Hours. Today, we journey into a world of magic, music, and myth. A world shaped by stories and silenced by a secret so terrible it cannot be named. We are, of course, talking about Patrick Rothfuss's modern fantasy classic, The Name of the Wind. Before we delve into the life of its infamous protagonist, it's worth taking a moment to understand why this book holds such a special place on the fantasy shelf. Published in 2007, it wasn't just another tale of swords and sorcery. It was a lyrical, character-driven epic that felt both timeless and refreshingly new. Rothfuss's prose sings, turning a simple fantasy narrative into something akin to poetry. The story is framed as an autobiography, a legend telling his own tale, which allows for a deeply intimate and introspective journey. We don't just see the hero's triumphs, we feel the sting of his failures, the burn of his shame, and the ache of his sorrow. This narrative choice is central to the book's significance, as it explores profound themes about the nature of truth, the unreliability of memory, and how stories shape our reality. The book is not without its controversies, debates around its pacing, the sometimes arrogant nature of its protagonist, Kvothe, and its portrayal of female characters continue to fuel discussion among fans. Yet, this only speaks to the book's power to engage and provoke. It's a story that invites you to lean in closer, to listen to the silence between the words. And it is in a profound silence that we begin at a remote tavern called the Waystone Inn, where a quiet, unassuming innkeeper is about to be unmasked as the most notorious man of his age. So, pour yourself a drink, find a comfortable seat by the hearth, and prepare to hear the truth behind the legend, told in his own words. The story begins in silence, a quiet so profound it feels like a character in itself. This is the Waystone Inn, a place at the edge of nowhere, tended by an unassuming man named Kvothe. He is a man of precise, quiet habits, a man who seems to be waiting for something, perhaps for death. This quiet is shattered by the arrival of two individuals. The first is a man possessed by a demon, a spider-like creature of nightmare called a Scrael. Kvothe, the simple innkeeper, dispatches it with an unnatural competence that belies his mild demeanor. The second arrival is a man known as Chronicler, a traveling scribe who has made a name for himself by recording the stories of the great and the famous. But Chronicler has not come here by chance. He has come seeking a legend. He believes that Kvothe the innkeeper is, in fact, the mythical Kvothe, the arcane, the Kingkiller, a man of 12 different names and 100 impossible stories. He has sought him out to record the true story, to separate the man from the myth. At first, Kvothe resists. He claims the man Chronicler seeks is dead, that the stories are just stories. But Chronicler is persistent, and he has a secret weapon. He knows one of Kvothe's teachers, Scarpi, and uses this connection to prove his earnestness. More than that, he attempts to coax the story out by goading Kvothe, mentioning the Chandrian, the true villains of Kvothe's life. This name, this memory, finally breaks through the innkeeper's placid facade. A deal is struck. Kvothe agrees to tell his story, the whole truth, but it will take 3 days. What follows is the beginning of that telling. a story that starts not with grand adventure, but with the simple joys of a childhood spent on the road. Kvothe begins his tale by describing his upbringing as part of the Edinburgh Ra, a proud and ancient line of traveling performers. The Ra are not common tinkers or vagabonds. They are artists of the highest caliber, actors, musicians, and storytellers who are welcome in the courts of nobles. Kvothe paints a vivid, idyllic picture of his early life, the warmth of the campfires, the camaraderie of the troupe, the constant hum of music and laughter. His father, a master lutenist and a gifted man, is his first and greatest teacher. His mother, a woman of noble birth who ran away for love, is his intellectual guide. He is a bright, precocious child, quick to learn and insatiably curious. This perfect childhood is made even richer by the arrival of a man named Benthi, or Ben, an arcanist who joins their troupe for a time. Ben sees the spark of true potential in the young Kvothe. He becomes the boy's first real tutor in the ways of the world and the secrets of magic. He teaches him science, logic, and mathematics. But most importantly, he introduces him to the principles of sympathy, a form of magic based on connecting two objects and exerting one's will upon them. Kvothe is a natural, his mind grasping the complex theories with an ease that astounds his teacher. Ben recognizes that Kvothe has the potential to attend the great university, the center of all knowledge. But alongside these lessons of science and reason, Ben also imparts darker lore, tales of demons, and most significantly, of the Chandrian, the 7 mysterious beings who bring destruction wherever they go. They are boogeymen, the stuff of nightmares, and their true names are a closely guarded secret. It is this fateful topic that captures the imagination of Kvothe's father. As a master songwriter, he decides to create the ultimate ballad, a song that tells the true story of the Chandrian. Ben warns him against it, sensing a danger that Kvothe's father dismisses as superstition. But the warning is tragically prescient. The research becomes an obsession, and slowly, painstakingly, Kvothe's father pieces together the forbidden knowledge. The song begins to take shape, a beautiful and dangerous melody that will ultimately seal their doom. Kvothe, ever the eager student, learns the song alongside his father, memorizing the names and the signs of the 7, completely unaware that in doing so, he is painting a target on the back of his entire world. The stage is set for a tragedy of unimaginable proportions, a single brutal event that will end Kvothe's childhood and set him on a dark and lonely path. The idyllic world of Kvothe's childhood is shattered in a single, horrific afternoon. While out gathering herbs in the woods, he returns to find the camp unnaturally silent. The familiar sounds of music and laughter are gone, replaced by the smell of smoke and something else, something metallic and wrong. He discovers a scene of utter devastation. The wagons are burning, and the members of his troop, his family, are dead, scattered across the clearing like broken dolls. And there, around the dying embers of the main campfire, he sees them. The Chandrian. They are 7 in number, just as the stories foretold, but the reality of them is far more terrifying than any tale. Their leader, a man named Cinder, is described with chilling detail, his hair white as snow, his eyes black as night. Another, Lord Haliax, is cloaked in shadow, a being of immense and ancient sorrow. They are not mindless monsters, they are intelligent, articulate, and utterly ruthless. They speak of the song Kvothe's father had written, a song that revealed their secrets, their true names. They discuss the necessity of their actions, the need to silence anyone who learns too much about them. They are pruning the rumor mill, ensuring their existence remains a thing of myth. Kvothe, hidden in the trees, is paralyzed by terror. He watches as they methodically destroy any evidence of their presence, their actions cold and efficient. He notices the strange signs that accompany them, the fire burning blue, the wood not charring, and a deep, oppressive silence that blankets the entire clearing. They are about to leave when Cinder notices a flicker of movement. He has spotted Kvothe. But before they can kill the last witness, Haliax calls them away, mentioning the approach of others, the Scythe, or perhaps the Ammer, enigmatic forces that even the Chandrians seem to fear. They vanish as quickly as they appeared, leaving Kvothe utterly alone in a world of ash and silence. The grief that follows is a crushing, all-consuming force. He is a child, stripped of everything he has ever known and loved. He wanders the woods in a daze, his mind fractured by the trauma. His only solace is his father's lute, which he managed to save from the wreckage. He plays for days, the music a fragile thread connecting him to his past. But in a moment of utter despair, his grief turns to rage, and he smashes the lute against a tree, the act symbolizing the breaking of his own spirit. With the death of the music, the vibrant, curious boy he once was dies too. He enters a state he calls the sleeping mind, a protective shell of numbness where he forgets his name, his skills, and his past. He is a feral child, driven only by the primal instinct to survive. He eventually stumbles his way to the sprawling, squalid port city of Tarbeen. The city is a brutal awakening. He is robbed, beaten, and left for dead. Tarbeen becomes his new, harsh reality. For 3 years, he lives as a street urchin, a ghost in the gutters. He learns the cruel calculus of survival, how to beg, how to steal, how to make himself invisible. He sleeps on rooftops, huddling for warmth, his body racked with hunger and the biting cold of the winter. He forgets how to speak, how to read, how to play music. He is a creature of the city, his senses honed to the ever-present dangers of the streets. The vibrant, articulate boy is buried under layers of grime and trauma. He is haunted by his memories, but he pushes them down, burying the pain so deep it almost disappears. This period in Tarbeen is a crucible, burning away the last vestiges of his innocence and forging him into something hard and resilient. He is lost, not just in a physical sense, but in a profound spiritual one. He has lost his name, his identity, and any hope for a future. It is a period of deep, dark hibernation, a time when the legend of Kvothe is not just unborn, but unthinkable. After 3 years of a half-life in the gutters of Tarbeen, a flicker of the old Kvothe is reawakened by the power of a story. He stumbles upon a man named Scarpi, a storyteller who plies his trade in the city's rougher taverns. Scarpi is not just a teller of tales, he is a keeper of histories, and the stories he tells are filled with a dangerous truth. One day, Kvothe listens as Scarpi recounts the story of Lanner, a great hero from the Creation War who, consumed by grief and power, betrayed his city and became Lord Haliax, the leader of the Chandrian. The story is a revelation to Kvothe. It's not just a child's scary tale, it's history. Scarpi speaks of the Ammer, the mysterious order dedicated to the greater good, and of the creation of the Chandrian. Hearing this story, told with such authority and detail, is like a key turning in a long, rusted lock. The walls around Kvothe's sleeping mind begin to crumble. He remembers his name, he remembers his family, and he remembers the faces of the beings who took them from him. Skarpi tells another story, one in which a Talon priest confronts the demon in Canis, who is revealed to be Haliax himself. During this second telling, Skarpi is arrested by the Talon Church for heresy. As the priests drag the old man away, something inside Kvothe snaps. He shouts at the priests, calling out Lanner's name, an act of defiance that is both foolish and incredibly brave. This moment is a turning point. The fire of his anger burns away the last of his apathy. He is no longer a passive victim of fate. He has a purpose. He resolves to leave Tarbeen and go to the one place where he might find answers, the university. This goal gives him a new focus. He needs money, and a lot of it. He starts by finding a pawnbroker, and using his long dormant wits, he sells a book he'd stolen for a pittance, only to cleverly reclaim the money he was cheated out of. This small victory is a significant one. It's the first time in years he has used his mind for something other than basic survival. He begins to meticulously plan his escape from the city. He needs clean clothes, food, and passage on a caravan heading south. He uses his street smarts, now honed by years of hardship, to acquire what he needs. He even manages to get a small measure of revenge on the pawnbroker who cheated him, a sign that his old confidence and cleverness are returning. The journey out of Tarbeen is a rebirth. He leaves behind the grime, the hunger, and the ghost of the boy he was. The road south is long and fraught with its own challenges. He travels with a caravan, earning his keep and slowly reacquainting himself with the world outside the city. He is still rough around the edges, his social skills blunted by years of isolation, but the core of his intelligence and charm begins to resurface. It is on this journey that he has a fateful encounter that will change the course of his life. He meets a young woman, a fellow traveler who is as beautiful as she is mysterious. Her name is Denna. She is a musician, her voice as captivating as her quick wit. They strike up an easy, flirtatious rapport, sharing stories and songs under the stars. For Kvothe, it is the first real human connection he has made in years, a moment of warmth and light after so much darkness. Their time together is brief, a fleeting interlude before their paths diverge. She is heading to Annalyn, he to the university. They part with a half-serious promise to meet again, but her presence lingers in his mind long after she is gone. She is a melody he can't forget, a beautiful enigma that adds a new layer of complexity to his already tumultuous life. He arrives at the university town not just as a boy seeking revenge, but as a young man who has begun to live again, a young man who has found a new, and perhaps equally compelling, reason to keep moving forward. The university is everything Kvothe dreamed of and more. It's a sprawling city of knowledge, a place where the greatest minds of the age gather to unravel the world's mysteries. The very air hums with intellectual energy. But for a penniless orphan with no connections, gaining entry is a monumental task. The first hurdle is admissions, a grueling interview with the 9 masters who govern the university. Kvothe, now 15 but looking younger, stands before them with nothing but the clothes on his back and the knowledge Ben had given him years ago. The masters are a formidable group, each a legend in their field, Elxadal, the master of sympathy; Arwil, the master of medicine; Kvothe, the master of artificing; Lauren, the master of the archives; and the sneering, antagonistic master Hem, among others. They grill him on a wide range of subjects, from chemistry to history to the complex principles of sympathy. Despite his lack of formal education, Kvothe answers with a confidence that borders on arrogance, his quick mind and deep understanding stunning the masters. He demonstrates a natural aptitude for sympathy that is almost unheard of. The masters are both impressed and wary. This boy is a prodigy, but he is also a wild card. In the end, they cannot deny his talent. In an unprecedented decision, they admit him with a tuition of -3 talents, meaning they will actually pay him a small stipend to attend. It's a staggering victory, a testament to his sheer brilliance. But life at the university is far from easy. His poverty is a constant, gnawing problem. He must find ways to earn money for food, lodging, and the materials needed for his classes. This forces him to be endlessly resourceful. He uses his knowledge of chemistry to create useful items to sell, and he begins to play his lute in local taverns to earn coin. His academic life, however, is a triumph. He excels in his studies, absorbing information like a sponge. He quickly befriends 2 other students, Simon and Wylam, who become his loyal companions. Sim, the son of a nobleman, is cheerful and kind. Will, a stern, sealdish man, is pragmatic and fiercely intelligent. They form a tight-knit trio, navigating the complexities of university life together. Kvothe's primary goal remains unchanged: to find information about the Chandrian. This means gaining access to the archives, the university's massive library, which is said to contain all the world's recorded knowledge. The archives are the domain of Master Lauren, a stern, silent man who values order and rules above all else. Kvothe's eagerness and lack of a proper introduction earn him an immediate ban from the library. This is a devastating blow, forcing him to seek information in other, less direct ways. His pursuit of knowledge is not his only challenge. He makes a powerful enemy in Ambrose Jackies, a wealthy, influential, and utterly malicious student from a powerful noble family. Their rivalry begins when Kvothe publicly humiliates Ambrose with a witty song after Ambrose insults a barmaid. Ambrose, petty and vindictive, uses his wealth and status to make Kvothe's life a living hell. He has Kvothe banned from the archives indefinitely, sabotages his work, and spreads vicious rumors about him. This feud will become a central conflict of Kvothe's university career, a constant thorn in his side that pushes him to his limits and often leads to disastrous consequences. Between his desperate financial situation, his relentless pursuit of forbidden knowledge, and his escalating war with Ambrose, Kvothe's time at the university is a precarious balancing act, a high wire walk where a single misstep could mean expulsion or worse. Despite the numerous obstacles, Kvothe's first term at the university is a period of remarkable achievement. He proves to be a brilliant student, particularly in sympathy and artificing. In Master Kvothe's workshop, a place of fire and metal known as the fishery, he demonstrates his ingenuity by creating a new, safer type of lamp, earning him the respect of the gruff master artificer. However, His most significant and enigmatic relationship is with Master Aladdin, the Master Namer. Aladdin is considered half-mad by most students and faculty. He is eccentric, unpredictable, and his classes are bizarre, seemingly nonsensical exercises. He once climbed a building just to prove a point and speaks in riddles and non sequiturs. But he is also the master of the most profound and powerful form of magic, naming. Naming is the ability to understand and speak the true name of a thing, be it stone, fire, or wind, and in doing so, gain mastery over it. Kvothe, having heard tales of this deep magic from Ben, is desperate to join Aladdin's class. Aladdin, however, dismisses him, claiming he is too young and too full of head magic, the logical, structured magic of sympathy to grasp the intuitive, instinctive nature of naming. This rejection only fuels Kvothe's determination. He becomes obsessed with proving himself worthy, a quest that will lead him down strange and dangerous paths. While the formal pursuit of naming is closed to him for now, his pursuit of music reopens. He saves enough money to buy a new lute and makes his way to the Aeolian, the most prestigious music venue in the area. Performing at the Aeolian is a rite of passage for any serious musician. A truly exceptional performance can earn a musician their pipes, a set of silver pipes that mark them as a talent of the highest order. Kvothe, filled with nervous energy, takes the stage. He decides to perform a notoriously complex and emotional piece, the Lay of Sir Savian Tralyard. It's a song of tragic love, and as he plays, he pours all of his own grief, longing, and passion into the music. The tavern falls silent, captivated by his skill and the raw emotion of his performance. In a moment of pure magic, a beautiful woman in the audience begins to sing the female part of the duet, her voice weaving perfectly with his. He is stunned to see that it is Denna. Her unexpected appearance elevates the performance to something legendary. Their voices and his lute create a moment of breathtaking beauty. The performance is a resounding success. The audience is ecstatic, and the owner of the Aeolian awards Kvothe his talent pipes, a mark of incredible prestige for a student so young. This triumph solidifies his reputation as a musical prodigy and provides a much-needed source of income and confidence. The reunion with Denna is both a joy and a torment. She is as captivating and elusive as ever. They spend a magical evening together, but she remains a beautiful enigma. She is always on the move, surrounded by a rotating cast of wealthy and often unpleasant male patrons. Kvothe is consumed with a fierce, protective jealousy, but he is powerless to do anything about it. Their relationship is a complex dance of near misses and unspoken feelings, a source of both his greatest inspiration and his deepest heartache. He is in love with her, but their lives seem destined to run on parallel tracks, always close, but never truly meeting. His success at the Aeolian and his reunion with Denna mark a high point, but the shadows of his past and the dangers of his present are never far away. Kvothe's triumph at the Aeolian brings him fame, but it also deepens the animosity of his rival, Ambrose. Enraged by Kvothe's success and popularity, Ambrose's attacks become more direct and dangerous. The feud escalates from petty sabotage to outright malicious acts. Ambrose uses his family's influence to buy up all of Kvothe's outstanding debts, placing him in a precarious financial position. He then frames Kvothe for a crime he didn't commit, leading to a confrontation that almost gets Kvothe expelled. The animosity culminates in a brutal act of cruelty. After another public performance where Kvothe shines, Ambrose, in a fit of jealous rage, ambushes him, steals his new, beloved lute, and smashes it on the cobblestones. For Kvothe, this is not just the destruction of an instrument, it is a desecration. The lute is his last tangible link to his parents, to his Edinburgh heritage, and to the music that is the core of his being. The sight of the shattered instrument unleashes a fury in him that is terrifying in its intensity. In this moment of pure, unrestrained rage, something primal and powerful breaks free. Without conscious thought, he speaks a single sharp word, and the wind itself obeys his command. A sudden, violent gust tears through the square, sending people and objects scattering. He has, for the first time, instinctively and unknowingly, called the name of the wind. This act of raw, untamed magic does not go unnoticed. Master Aladdin, who happens to be nearby, witnesses the event. He sees not a clever student performing a trick, but a namer awakening to his power. This single, uncontrolled act is the proof of potential that Aladdin was waiting for. He immediately takes Kvothe on as a student, finally admitting him to his exclusive and mysterious naming class. This marks a profound shift in Kvothe's education. He is now on the path to learning the deepest and most powerful form of magic in his world. However, this magical breakthrough comes at a high price. The university's masters, while intrigued, are also alarmed. They cannot ignore such a public and dangerous display of power. Kvothe is brought before them for a disciplinary hearing. Master Hem, his longtime antagonist, pushes for his expulsion. However, Aladdin defends him, arguing that Kvothe's actions were not malicious, but were the sign of a namer's awakening. The other masters are torn. They ultimately reach a compromise. Instead of expulsion, Kvothe is sentenced to be whipped, a severe and humiliating punishment. But in a strange twist of university justice, they also promote him to the rank of Reller, one of the higher ranks of the Arcanum, in recognition of the power he has demonstrated. This paradoxical outcome, being simultaneously punished and promoted, is a perfect encapsulation of Kvothe's chaotic life at the university. He is a prodigy who constantly breaks the rules, a source of both pride and immense frustration for his teachers. The whipping is a brutal, painful experience, but the promotion to Reller gives him new privileges and a deeper access to the university's secrets, bringing him one step closer to his ultimate goal. The incident with Ambrose and the awakening of his naming ability mark the end of his innocence. He has tasted true power, and he has paid a painful price for it. He is no longer just a clever boy playing at being a man. He is a force to be reckoned with, a namer in training, on a path that is both glorious and fraught with peril. Just as Kvothe is beginning to settle into his new life as a Reller and a student of naming, news from the outside world shatters his academic focus. He hears a chilling rumor about a wedding party in the small town of Trebon that ended in a horrific massacre. The details of the story, the blue-colored fire, the unnatural silence, the lack of any logical cause, are sickeningly familiar. It is the signature of the Chandrian. The news reignites the cold, hard rage that has been simmering within him since his childhood. This is not ancient history. This is happening now. He knows he has to go. He abandons his studies, scrounges together what little money he has, and makes the arduous journey to Trebon, driven by a desperate need to find answers, to find any clue that might lead him to the Seven. When he arrives, he finds the town reeling in shock and fear. The The site of the massacre is a scene of eerie devastation. As he begins to investigate, piecing together fragments of the story from the terrified locals, he runs into the last person he expects to see Denna. In a twist of fate that seems too incredible to be a coincidence, she had been hired to play her harp at the wedding and was the sole survivor, having left the party just before the attack to cool off by a nearby stream. Her presence is a source of both comfort and suspicion. Why does she always seem to appear at the most pivotal and often most dangerous moments of his life? Together, they begin to unravel the mystery. They learn that the patron of the wedding, a wealthy nobleman, was an amateur archaeologist who had recently unearthed a number of ancient artifacts from a nearby Mothen farm. The Chandrian, it seems, had come not for the people, but for something on the farm. Their investigation leads them to the Mothen farmstead, where they find the family dead, and a large, ancient vase, a piece of pottery, shattered into pieces. As Kvothe painstakingly reassembles the vase, he sees images painted on its surface that depict the 7 Chandrian, each with their characteristic signs, and another group of figures opposing them, the Amur, their ancient enemies. This is the most concrete evidence he has ever found, a tangible link to the beings who haunt his past. But the Chandrian have left behind another, more immediate threat. The locals speak of a Drakus, a creature of myth, that has been terrorizing the countryside. Kvothe and Denna discover that this is no myth. A massive, lizard-like creature, a Drakus, has been driven into a frenzy. They deduce that the creature became addicted to Denner resin, a powerful narcotic that was being processed at a nearby camp. The Drakus, in its desperate search for more of the drug, consumed the entire supply, leading to a massive overdose. Now, driven mad and with its internal chemistry altered, the beast is not just breathing smoke, but actual fire. It has become a living, breathing dragon. They realize with dawning horror that the crazed Drakus is heading directly for Trebon, drawn by the smell of burning resin from the apothecary where the local supply is stored. The town is in imminent danger of being incinerated. The search for the ghosts of his past has led him directly into the path of a very real and very fiery monster. The threat of the Drakus is immediate and catastrophic. The creature, a veritable mountain of muscle and scale, is a walking inferno, and it is lumbering directly towards Trebon. The town is a tinderbox, and its destruction is all but certain. While the townsfolk panic, Kvothe's mind races. He knows he cannot fight the beast head-on, but he is an arcanist, trained in the art of sympathy. His mind, honed by years of study at the university, begins to formulate a desperate, audacious plan. He realizes that the Drakus, despite its size, is still a creature of flesh and blood, and it is subject to the laws of nature. More importantly, its scales have a high iron content. This is the key. He can use sympathy to create a binding between the iron in the Drakus's scales and another large piece of iron, effectively turning the beast into a giant puppet. His plan is fraught with danger and relies on a level of sympathetic control that would test even a master. He rushes to prepare. He gathers a large quantity of Denner resin to use as bait, and then finds the perfect tool for his plan: a massive iron wheel from a dilapidated watermill. He enlists the help of some of the braver townsfolk, explaining his strategy. He will lure the Drakus to a specific spot, and then, using the iron wheel as a fulcrum, he will attempt to control the beast's movements. The confrontation is a scene of epic chaos. Kvothe, armed with his loot case full of resin and his unshakable will, faces the monstrous creature. The Dracus is a terrifying sight, its eyes glowing with a mad, drug-fueled light, its breath a torrent of flame. Kvothe uses the resin to lure the beast into position, then establishes the sympathetic binding between its scales and the iron wheel. The strain is immense. He must pour all of his mental energy, his alar, into maintaining the link. It's a battle of wills, a tiny human mind against the raw, brute force of a dragon. He manages to seize control, forcing the beast to stumble and fall. But the plan goes awry. The Dracus, in its thrashing, crashes into the town's Talon church, setting it ablaze. Inside the burning church is the town's supply of denner resin. Kvothe realizes with horror that the heat from the fire will cause the resin to explode, taking half the town with it. He is forced to adapt his plan on the fly. He breaks into the burning church, and, using his knowledge of chemistry and a dose of quick thinking, he manages to mix the resin with an oxidizing agent, causing it to burn away rapidly, but without exploding. In the process, he is badly burned and inhales a large amount of the narcotic smoke. Stumbling out of the church, high on the resin and barely conscious, he confronts the weakened Dracus one last time. In his drug-addled state, he climbs onto the beast's back and delivers the final blow, killing it and ending its reign of terror. He collapses, exhausted and injured, but victorious. The town of Trebon is saved. When he awakens, he is a hero. The stories of his exploits spread like wildfire, growing more fantastical with each telling. He is Kvothe the Bloodless, the man who single-handedly slew a dragon. But the victory is bittersweet. In the chaos, Denna has once again disappeared, leaving without a word. And despite his heroism, he is no closer to finding the Chandrian. He has saved a town, but he has only managed to clean up the mess left behind by his true enemies. Kvothe returns to the university not as a mere student, but as a living legend. The tale of the Dracus in Trebon has preceded him, and he finds himself the subject of songs and stories. This newfound fame is a double-edged sword. It brings him a certain level of respect and awe, but it also breeds jealousy and suspicion, particularly from his nemesis, Ambrose. While dealing with the fallout of his fame, he delves deeper into his studies, especially his lessons with Master Aladdin. Learning naming is unlike any other subject. It is not about memorization or formulas. It is about perception, about seeing the world as it truly is and understanding the fundamental nature of things. Aladdin's methods are bizarre and frustrating. He asks unanswerable questions, sets impossible tasks, and forces Kvothe to unlearn his reliance on logic and reason. He teaches Kvothe to trust his sleeping mind, the intuitive, subconscious part of himself that he had suppressed since the trauma of his childhood. One day, Aladdin takes Kvothe to the roof of a building and simply asks him to jump. It is a test of trust and a lesson in letting go of fear. Kvothe, through a combination of wit and luck, manages to survive the ordeal, earning a grudging respect from his eccentric master. His progress in naming is slow and arduous, marked by moments of profound frustration and fleeting glimpses of true understanding. Alongside his formal education, Kvothe continues his own, more secretive studies. He spends more time in the underbelly of the university, a place known as the Unearthing. There, he befriends a strange, ethereal girl named Ori. Ori is a former student who has taken refuge in the labyrinthine tunnels beneath the university. She is fragile and fearful, living by her own set of mysterious rules. She sees the world in a unique and poetic way, and she and Kvothe develop a deep and tender friendship. She trusts him in a way she trusts no one else, and in return, she shows him the secret ways of her hidden world. Ori becomes his confidant and a source of quiet wisdom, a still point in his turbulent life. But the relative peace of the university is once again shattered by his feud with Ambrose. The conflict escalates to a dangerous new level. After a particularly bitter exchange, Ambrose uses powerful sympathy to attack Kvothe from a distance, crafting a wax doll, a malfeasance charm, to inflict pain and illness upon him. Kvothe grows weak and feverish, his health failing for no apparent reason. His friends, Simon and Wylam, grow increasingly worried. Kvothe, using his own knowledge of sympathy, realizes what is happening. He knows he has to find the wax doll and break the sympathetic link. He embarks on a desperate, fever-fueled search of Ambrose's rooms. With the help of his friends and a clever bit of artifice, he manages to break into Ambrose's quarters. The search is a race against time as his strength continues to fail. He finally finds the doll, hidden away in a locked chest. He destroys it, severing the magical connection and instantly recovering his strength. This incident is a stark reminder of the very real dangers that exist within the university's walls. Malfeasance, the use of sympathy to harm others, is the darkest of arts, and Ambrose has proven he is willing to use it. Kvothe now knows that his enemy is not just a privileged bully, but a potential murderer. The stakes of their rivalry have been raised to a deadly new height. The attempt on his life via malfeasance forces Kvothe to take more drastic measures against Ambrose. He can no longer afford to treat their feud as a game. He needs leverage, something to hold over Ambrose's head to ensure his own safety. His chance comes during a trip to the nearby town of Imre. He learns that Ambrose is a frequent patron of a high-class brothel. Kvothe, ever the opportunist, uses his charm and a bit of clever deception to gain the trust of some of the women there, learning compromising details about Ambrose's habits and preferences. This information is his insurance policy, but his financial situation remains desperate. He is deeply in debt to a savvy and ruthless moneylender named Kvothe, a former student who runs her business with an iron fist. Kvothe is a formidable character, intelligent and powerful in her own right, and she is not a woman to be trifled with. Kvothe's debt hangs over him like a storm cloud, threatening to drown him. It is during this period of intense pressure that he has another, more profound, encounter with the Name of the Wind. Chased through the streets of Imre by Ambrose's thugs, he finds himself trapped in a narrow alley. In a moment of sheer desperation, with no other way out, he reaches out with his senses, quiets his logical mind, and truly listens. And this time, he hears it. He hears the true 4-syllable name of the wind. He speaks the name aloud, and the wind obeys him utterly. It becomes an extension of his will, a powerful force that he uses to disarm and terrify his attackers. This is a monumental breakthrough. It is no longer an instinctual outburst of rage, but a conscious act of naming. He has taken a massive step on his journey to becoming a true arcanist. Master Aladdin is overjoyed, recognizing the magnitude of Kvothe's achievement. This success, however, does not solve his worldly problems. He still needs money. His desperation leads him to seek the patronage of a wealthy nobleman, Mayor Alvarin, who is suffering from a mysterious illness that has baffled the best doctors in the land. The mayor is located in the distant city of Severin, and securing his patronage would mean leaving the university for a time. It's a huge gamble, but it could solve all of his financial problems and give him the influence and resources he needs to continue his search for the Chandrian. As the term ends, Kvothe makes his decision. He will leave the university and travel to Severin to offer his services to the mayor. He says his goodbyes to his friends, to Sim and Will, to Ori, and to Aladdin. His departure marks the end of the first major chapter of his life. He is leaving behind the relative safety of the academic world and venturing into the complex and dangerous world of court politics and high society. Kvothe, the innkeeper, finishes his tale for the day. The sun has set, and the first day of his 3-day story is complete. He has brought Chronicler and his apprentice, Bast, from his idyllic childhood to the brink of his first great adventure in the world of men. He is no longer just a boy, but a man of many talents and many names, a man who has loved, lost, and fought his way through a world that seems determined to break him. The silence returns to the Waystone Inn, but it is a different kind of silence now, one filled with the weight of a story told and the promise of more to come. And so ends the first day of the telling. The Name of the Wind is ultimately a story about stories themselves, how they are made, how they are remembered, and how they can be more real than the truth itself. Kvothe's journey is a powerful exploration of grief, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of knowledge. It masterfully sets the stage, introducing a world rich with history and lore, and a cast of characters who are as flawed as they are compelling. The book's brilliance lies in its intimate, first-person narrative, which allows us to see the world through the eyes of a legend, to feel his pride and his pain. We are left with 1,000 questions. Who are the Ammer? What is the secret of the lackless box? What is the true nature of Denna's mysterious patron? And most importantly, what event could possibly have transformed the brilliant, vibrant Kvothe of the story into the broken, quiet innkeeper who tells it? The book is a promise, a beautiful and intricate beginning that leaves its audience desperate for the next verse of the song. It is a testament to the idea that the best stories are not just about what happened, but about the telling itself.